approve the minutes of the July 21st, 2023. Have a motion, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
And one abstention. Okay. Chair's report. I spoke to, our liaison is Mr. McCaskill from the Select Board. I spoke with him, and my question was, the properties that we have prioritized and submitted, made the recommendation to the Select Board in an executive session, so we can't talk about what they are. But my question was, did the Select Board agree with our priorities, or did they think it should be changed? Maybe their priority was a different one first than ours. He said they totally agreed with everything that we had recommended, so that's good. They are contracting with an attorney to do title search. Okay. These were my questions to our liaison. He has not spent any of the $500,000 that town meeting had previously approved, and he will have an article for $500,000 at the next town meeting for more additional. I guess that money will go towards the contract with the title search and,
If the taxpayers want to vote it,
yeah, right.
since the first 500 hadn't been used, I'm not sure they'd be interested in that.
Well, time will tell. He's also tried to put together a working group, which would, a small working group, which would consist of someone from the Finance Committee, the assessor, the town administrator, Mr. McCaskill himself, and myself as chair of Real Estate and Open Space, feeling that with all of us in the same room, talking about what our priorities are and what our goals are and how we can accomplish them, maybe it's time to sit down with all of us, and because sometimes we have to go to the assessor's office for something, sometimes we go to the tax. They're working on one thing, they're working on something else. We need to know what's going on and who's working on what. I haven't gotten too far with the tax office to find out what's going on with some of the properties that we had recommended. But this meeting, if it was supposed to be within the last 2 weeks, but unfortunately, the finance officer, had a family issue that she had to deal with out of off Cape, so she wasn't available for the meeting. So, we'll see. Okay. There was a Affordable Housing Trust meeting on Monday.
I went to it.
Oh, did you? Oh, good. All right. I just would tell Brett, usually I try to attend, and Kathy tries to make it when we can, because we think that being at those meetings helps, kind of keep a connective roll of information going around. So, your report.
Yeah, it was a 2-hour meeting. It went full 2 hours.
No, his eyeballs were like,
I know.
oh my God.
They talked about the upcoming, what would you call it, like a conference on the 27th
Yeah.
of September, which is to learn about ways that conservation and affordable housing can work together and move forward. And they can take up to 150 participants at the community center, and so far they have, 35 registered. So there's room, and it would be a nice event for people to attend. I forget the timing. Do you remember when it is?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yep.
Okay, not exactly conducive if you work, but, I did register, I'm gonna attend, so, we'll see.
Okay.
They talked about that, and then, Community Development, Partnership, Director Jay Colburn was there with, another person that works in his office, and they kind of talked about what they do, in collaboration with perhaps some of the trust activities, that kind of thing. They had all just attended a one-day conference, I believe, I forget the name of it, and they were reviewing that. And one of the things that someone said, which resonated with a lot of people, was that, here on the Cape, we've done a great job, preserving, open space. And on the Cape, we've done a great job preserving historical structures. And on the Cape, we've done a terrible job of preserving people and, you know, providing for the people that live here, which was sort of an interesting statement. So that was one thing that they talked about. And then they had a I guess, the Pine Oaks Village 4, a potential affordable housing project, was looking for a letter of support for part of their application process and the federal and state funding kind of thing. And there was a lot of discussion, and they ended up not leaving with a letter of support at this time. There's something else they need to figure out. And that was, and then they had their consultant, Jen Goldson, came in for 10 minutes and kind of gave them an overview of what the next steps are.
Okay.
And when they wrapped it up, they asked me if I had anything to say, which I did not. It was at the end of the meeting. But I did say that I appreciated that the tenor of the meeting was enjoyable and that it was very collaborative in nature
Okay.
versus the
Yes,
last
experience, yeah.
4 or 5 years, which was nice.
Yeah.
So,
About time.
And I think the other thing, they do have the action plan and scope of work,
Oh,
which is a big step forward to
Yeah.
actually have a plan.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, and it turns, the other thing that's been a thing that continues to come up is that they've been seeking to have someone write an RFP to get somebody to write the RFP for the Marceline property. And as it turns out, they're able to use this woman that, you know, I think they have not used in this particular fashion, but they have an acquaintance with. I don't know if she's from Mass Housing or something else, who does write these kind of things.
Right.
And she's willing to help them write it, provide technical support. And so I believe they've been able
To write the first
to
one?
write the first
The
one
first one,
to
okay.
get the RFP, you know, written, whatever.
Yeah, okay,
So they were happy about that.
okay. I'm happy when they're happy.
Yeah, that was
Okay,
good.
Sounds good. Now, how
Good
about
news for a
CPC? Anything?
CPC, no, we had to cancel our meeting a week ago. We have a meeting this coming Thursday, the 24th. And just again, reminder that to all the applicants that the application is now online, and applications don't need to be submitted at the last minute. They can be submitted anytime now because the application is there. And it gives us time to look at that application in case it's incomplete. You know, we could send it back to the people, but it will be, the process is a process where it's time-stamped and everything like that. So it is due October 2nd at 4 p.m. That's the last date for the applications. So we'll see.
Okay, good. Margot, do you have anything to share? Anything?
Well, the local planning committee had a meeting at the beginning of August. And we're working with a consultant from Ty and Bond to help the committee launch the public outreach section of, or the beginning of the public outreach for the update of the local comprehensive plan. One of the things that we've been working on is trying to coordinate between our consultants, because we have Ty and Bond is the main consultant, but there's a sub-consultant that's working on the housing production plan, which is going to be part of this process. And we wanted to make sure that that person was coordinating with the Housing Trust and their consultants so that we weren't having dueling consultants here heading off in different directions. And I think that there's been some progress made on that. There are going to be some public workshops in the fall, and they're going to be developing a survey for people to weigh in on what they think are the key issues that we should be addressing in the update. So, you know, things are getting rolling with that, and I think we've got a good consultant. It was a big loss to lose the town planner because we don't really have anybody in town hall now who's really tracking this in a consistent way. But we're moving forward anyway. So that's an update. There'll be another meeting in early September.
Okay, good, thank you. Anyone else? Michael?
Margot, what is the, oh, sorry, yeah, thanks, Kim. Margot, so you mentioned the public forums for community input in the fall, and then what is the timeline for completing the revision, and how long is that revision expected to be for? Is it a 5-year plan, 10-year plan?
It's technically a 5-year plan, but as a practical matter, it doesn't seem to get done more often than about every 10 years. There's no requirement that it be done at a regular interval, but the recommended interval is every 5 years. We're anticipating that it's going to take about a year to produce a revised plan. So best case, I would think sometime next summer.
Great, thanks.
Anyone else? Dave?
Just want to let you know that I've received the shape files for the maps,
Oh,
current
okay.
updated maps, just last week. I've been in touch with Carly. She just emailed me some data that I was looking for, the assessor's current database, because what's up on the website is many
You know what,
months old.
maybe you need to pull that microphone a little bit closer to something.
And the, I asked her whether Gail's contract has started, and the answer is no.
Oh, good.
So, we were supposed to have her, I thought, from
I
Demo.
thought so too. Yeah.
So, if you happen to see Mr. McCaskill, I'd appreciate you shaking his tree.
Blaine, I was hoping that Brad could maybe introduce himself
Oh, yes,
and tell
Brad.
us what brings him to this committee.
Welcome to our committee, Brad.
Thank you. Yeah, Brad Highnote. I moved here, I moved to the Cape from Fall River, where I was born and raised, 2014, December. And my wife and I, well, my now wife and I bought our house off of Headwaters in January of 17. I worked for the town of Orleans. I'm the town assessor there. I just had kind of wanted to dip my toes into how the committee side of all of this works. I've been in front of enough committees at this point in Orleans, so I thought, I don't know, having seen how business is done, I just wondered, oh, maybe there's something I can pitch my hat in to be a part of it. And real estate open space, given what I do professionally, seemed to make sense.
Oh, yes, we're glad to have you.
So
Right.
I thought, yeah, why not?
Great. Share your expertise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pick
Such
your
as it
brain.
is.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, I think, I don't know if you're familiar with any, but as you can see, Kathy is on the Community Preservation
Yep.
Committee as our liaison. Margot is on the local committee planning.
Yep.
Dave does every map.
He's our
and
map guy.
Remapping, he's our map guy, and you'll see it at some future meeting. When he puts maps up there on that big screen, you're gonna understand what every piece of property is and how it affects the properties around it. Marcia is a real estate agent, and so we're glad for her expertise. She keeps us filled in on what's going on in town, as you can see. And then there's just little old me, so.
And Carol.
Oh, and Carol Porter was not able to join us today. Carol is our clerk and usually takes all the minutes for us and does all that. So we're certainly glad to have you, Brad.
Happy to be here.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay.
Great.
Anything else before we? Oh, just one thing. I went, the select board now are having working sessions. It's not actually a board meeting, but they just get together very casually and talk about things that they, whatever. Well, their last one I attended, public can attend. The meetings are not recorded though. And it's, like I said, very casual. But the topic and why I went was about committees. So they are delving into the committees. Some of them now are no longer relevant. Whether some of them really should just, be eliminated, or combined with another committee. Things like forestry and, I forgot what the other one was, agriculture, or there's a committee with no members. So, really, out of the 43 committees, there's probably only 20 that are really viable committees. And so they're looking at, kind of shaking up the committees and seeing which ones are still relevant. And they plan to talk to the chairs of the committees to see whether they feel that they're actually contributing and, what their problems or concerns are. Also, they're going to look at the different charges for the committees, because some of them, the charge that they have written maybe isn't the same as it was when it was written back in 1990-something or 1980-something. So they're going to look at, and I think, I'm not even sure they have one for us. I think we were one of the committees that they didn't actually have a charge written somewhere as to exactly what we're supposed to do. I know the thing online when you go to the town website for a committee, but then the last paragraph is all about the water department, and that's not really, I mean, we do work with the water department, but it's not like a major thing for it. So maybe that some of these things need to be looked at and reassessed how they are. What else were they talking about? So, the other thing is that they want to kind of go over, maybe get as many of the chairs together at one time as possible, and talk about how some chairs aren't posting their agendas, some of them aren't putting their minutes up. There are people serving on committees that have never been sworn in. Brad, I know you're sworn in, I checked before. So one committee has several members who have never been sworn in. So they shouldn't even be at the table. So things like that all need to be addressed.
Not our concern.
No, I know, but I'm just saying there is now a focus on the committees and kind of making. We, of course, are the A team. So, no worries here, because we do everything we're supposed to do when we're supposed to do it, thanks to everyone on this committee. So, we're in good stead. But some of the others, need to clean up their acts, and that's what'll happen, so, just so we know. Okay, everybody, I think we've all exhausted.
All right, motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you very
Aye.
much. Thank you, Margot, for taking out time